Hi everyone and welcome back. In this video, we want to go over our 2023 earnings as a car sharing host. This year, we didn't add as many vehicles as we would have liked to, partly because we moved homes, but mostly because we built a shop in our backyard in the new home and that took most of our money. In the video, we're going to go over everything as far as claims, damage claims, smoking fees, cleaning fees. There were some claims where we got paid out and decided not to fix the vehicles, and we just instead pocket that money. And then for some context, we are on the 75 plan, which has the $250 deductible. There's a lot of information, so you'll see me kind of going back between my notes and the information on the screen, so just bear with me. All right, here we are on the Turo page. So we have, we're on the business tab, all vehicles for 2023. We made a total of $66,000, and we're going to take it from the top. As we go through one by one, you're going to see that there's some which are grayed out. Those vehicles have either been sold or we've removed them some time ago, or the ones that have been damaged. I'm sorry, not the ones that have been totaled. So we'll take it through the first one, Buick and Vista. So this car started in late September. It had a recall in November, but it still went out on 12 trips and it did not have any damage claims. So in the end, it ended up earning $2,208. We'll go to the next one, Buick and Vista. This is the Sport. This one we listed in October. It earned about $1,000 a month. It had the same recall in November as the other one, but it was a simple software fix. It ended up going on 7 trips, and it did have one damage claim for $425. So one of the risks with newer vehicles, oftentimes they can have a recall, and when they do, you don't really know how long it's going to take to get that fixed. The other thing with newer vehicles is like in our case, we had a damage claim. We had to order a replacement windshield and a key fob, and those haven't came in. So oftentimes there's a little bit longer that you have to wait before you get those items in. So let's move on to the Chevy Trax. So this one started in late September. It really didn't rent out much in December, and we're not really sure why, but we chose not to lower the price anymore. With new vehicles, we would rather them sit and not lower the price as much because of the depreciation, which is opposite to how we feel about our older vehicles. This one ended up going on 15 trips and it did not have any damage claims. It ended up earning $2,026. If we go over to our next car, our blue Ford Escape. So for this car, the first 7 months of 2023, it was actually on a long-term rental that started in December of 2022. Whenever the car was returned in July, it needed a little bit of maintenance work, and which is very normal. We see that being a very common thing with long-term trips. They come back and they need a little bit of work. This one needed an air condenser, ignition lock, a fuel pump, and then some other miscellaneous items. And this is also around the time that we moved, so it was taking James a little bit longer to turn cars around. It still make really good profit for a car that was down for 2 months. It was gone for a total of 12 trips with one damage claim for $564 and closed out the year with the $6,864. Go over to the Red Escape. So this one also rented out pretty well all year round. It was down a short period twice, once in August for brake work, and then again in November, December for maintenance because it was overheating. This one went on a total of 27. Oh, no, sorry. This one actually went on a total of 17 trips, and it did not have any damage claims. So going to our Kia, our 2011 Kia, this is the one that was totaled. So back in February, this one was down for maintenance on some steering components. It went out on a total of 11 trips and had 3 damage claims. 2 of those were for the wheel and damage claims. This car had the black rim, so it was always really noticeable anytime it had any sort of rim rash. And then the other one was for the total loss in August. So we did a video, an entire video on the total loss where we go over all the numbers in a little bit more detail. So this one ended up with $4,652 in 2023. We'll go to our gray Mazda, 2010 gray Mazda. Okay, this one was in the body shop in February because somebody damaged the fender and then decided to spray paint it. This happened in December of 2022, and we took it into the body shop in February for a month. And it was still our second highest earner. It had one more damage claim in 2023 for $919. It ended up going on a total of 21 trips and is currently on a long-term rental since September. And we see that Mazdas tend to do really, really well on Turo. So we have another Mazda, same model, but this one is white. Okay, this one was our highest earner. Honestly, this one always rents out consistently throughout the year. It is not a bad car, but it has some body damage to it. I mean, just its age. And then also it has the tan cloth interior, so it's not the easiest to keep clean. Actually quite impossible to keep clean. But it just goes to show that a lot of our local renters don't care much about what the car looks like, as long as it gets them from point A to point B. This one had one damage claim for a broken rim and a total of 26 trips. It ended up earning $7,899. Then we have our next one, skipped over it. So our Mazda 2. Okay, we added this one at the end of the summer, and it only had 3 trips. Currently, it's on a long-term trip, and this one did not have any damage claims in 2023. It ended up earning $2,455. Next, we go over to our Mazda 3. We did not keep this car very long. It was a really good car. We really liked it, but the people that did rent it, they were complaining about a noise from the transmission, and so we just decided to sell it. It was a very short time that we had it, but it ended up going on a total of 7 trips and only had 7 trips, and it had 2 damage claims. One was for the rear bumper for $671, and then the other one was some damage to the roof for $883. Okay, next we're gonna go to the Mini Cooper. So you see we had 2. This is one that we sold a while back. This is the one we owned in 2023. This one was down for most of the year for maintenance with an oil leak, which we could not figure out. It was still drivable, so we were driving it just like ourselves. In total, this car we paid $5,000 for, but it grossed us about $9,000 since 2011 when we purchased it. It had one damage claim in 2023, which was when it was totaled, and we were paid out $6,500, and we got to keep the car. So next, we go over to our other Mini, our blue Mini, which we've had for a while. Okay, here's our blue Mini. Very popular car. This one actually goes out, like the turnaround on this one. We had 36 trips, and the only damage claim was when a guest damaged the antenna. I think they drove it through like one of those car washes and it damaged it. This one is still a really good car. It's running strong, and currently one renter has had it for over a month right now. All right, we go over to our car that we've had on here for the longest, our smart car. Okay, our smart car, another one of our very popular cars. This one had 23 trips in 2023. It was down a little bit at the end of February, March for bodywork damage. This one had that claim after a 10-month rental. And then again in August, because that paint job that we had done back in February, March was defective. So it had 2 more damage claims after that. One was for the windshield and one was for a bent wheel. So this smart car made us almost $5,000 in 2023. And considering that this car was $3,800 originally, this car has paid for itself almost 4 times since we've owned it. Okay, next, we'll go over to the Suzuki 2009. All right, this one only had 10 trips in 2023, and it was actually down most of the year because it had a cracked motor. We ended up taking it to San Antonio to get it fixed under the Suzuki extended warranty. And then months later, when we put it back on the platform. The great thing about the cash cars is that, like in this example, we had this car that was down for a while, and we're not really worried about it because it's already paid off. Like this one in particular has almost paid itself off twice since we've had it. So really it being down is not a big deal. And then it ended up not having any damage claims either. Probably mostly it was down most of the time. Okay, and then we have our Toyota Yaris. So this is the last one. Okay, this one went on 20 trips, and this one rent really well all year. Never really had any major maintenance, and this one has more than paid for itself in 2023 alone. But I don't know if it's the size or what it is. It seems like people treat it like a bumper car. This one has had 4 damage claims, one for the rear bumper, and that was $387. One huge door ding and we got $226. One damage to the roof and rear bumper, that one was $1,298. And then one more for the door damage for $1,046. So again, if we go back and select all, total earnings, at least from Turo in 2023, was $66,213, plus the damage claims that we fixed ourselves. That was $6,419. And then in addition to that, we have the Getaround cars. That one was $27,750. So we grossed just about $100,000 in car sharing. And then we did the math for damage claims at the end of the year, and then we came up being on top on the 75 plan versus any other plan. So for sure, we see ourselves staying in the 75 plan for the foreseeable future. Okay, and then lastly, some stats. So total for 2023, we had 249 trips that were booked. 27 of those ended up being canceled. So we really only completed 222 trips. For cancellation fees, we were paid out 7 times, and that was $288. And then we have the boost price, which is that 5% for last minute booking or same day booking. That was applicable 60 times, and we got $710. And then excess distance charges, we got paid out 16 times for $1,033. Tolls and ticket reimbursements, we processed 101 of those, and that was for $3,719. And we have seen a little bit of a debate on this on Facebook, where some guests seem to get upset because they will receive a toll invoice for like $1.50 or something like under $5, and they seem to think that that's petty. Then you have some hosts which agree with the guest, and you have some hosts that say no, we should not let any one of these slide. We personally charge for all of them regardless of the amount. Again, we processed 101 of these, so we just feel that if we start letting those go, then it's just less money in our pocket in the end. I mean, we ended up processing $3,719, so I can't imagine for the host to just let several of these go. If you have a different opinion on that, we'd love to hear it, and you can drop it in the comments. Tell us what you think about that, and then why. And then as far as improper return fees, we processed 5 of those for $187. Late fees, 12 of those for $180. Additional usage, 17 times for $360. Smoking fee, this is the worst ones. We processed 8 of those for $1,750. Cleaning fees, 9 times for $1,450. Gas reimbursements, 42 of those were processed for $890. Now the gas reimbursements, thus when we're having to put the gas because they didn't return the gas with the same level as what we gave them the car with, we always give them a full tank. So for us, it's always pretty easy to tell. That is all money that we paid out of our pocket, but that it was reimbursed back to us. But then as far as that $10 convenience fee that the guest is charged, we received $420 that went into our pocket. And then other fees, which can be anything like whenever we have to repossess a car and we have to pay for an Uber or take an Uber there, things around that, we got paid $373. So in total trip days, our cars were out for 2,570 days. That's an average of 10 days and a max of 155 days. Distance traveled was 200,000 plus miles. Okay, and that's a wrap for us for 2023. Overall, we're pretty happy with how we did. I mean, we did move, and so that ended up, changing things up for us a little bit, but we're still happy with the overall results of 2023. We would love to hear how you did and maybe some of the things that you learned from last year that you plan on changing, or anything that you plan on implementing in this year or moving forward. As for us, we want to continue to focus on growing our fleet. We actually have some cars that we will be listing soon, and we want to continue to grow our fleet. 2024, we're pretty happy with how we did. We did better than in 2022. And then in fact, we again kind of going back to like those Facebook posts, Facebook groups, we see where some people really saw that their business had a slump. We don't feel like that's really impacted us, like the economy hasn't impacted us and the change of habits from people, none of that, mostly because we continue to cater to a lot of local people that need a vehicle, just the vehicle to go from point A to point B. So like I was mentioning, and some of our vehicles may not be in the best of the condition, but in the end, it's still a good working vehicle, a solid car that's going to get them to their destination. And I think at the end of the day, for a lot of the local renters that we have, that's the most important thing. So we don't see that our business is at risk at all. We're going to continue with this strategy, and it's why we think that our strategy works for us based on our location, based on the market and the demand that we have here. So we're just going to continue to try to grow that and see how far we can get this in 2024. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for continuing to jump into our YouTube channel. Please continue to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.